Hello, my dear people on YouTube. I am happy to be back today with an update. So, if you saw the video, it will be somewhere here that I did before this one. I discussed a strategy that I learned from Lisa Nichols. You should definitely look her up. She's amazing. So she has this conversation um, like questions, connection questions, and then I cut them and I folded them and I put them in a container. And so last night was our first night using it, and it went really well. One of my girls don't really communicate a lot, but it was pretty good to to it went actually pretty well. I implemented as well the safe space conversation container. So I introduced them to that, to basically letting them know that whenever they want to talk, and they don't want to be judged, they don't want punishment if they made a bad decision, they can call in safe space and let's talk about it and let's figure out solutions from a strength space versus in a positive space, or at least like listening mode versus reactive mom mode. And so that went really well. That went really well, and they all agreed that they will make them feel safer. And so I am now with the intention that once a week, at least every Wednesday, we'll sit down and connect, even if it's just one round of those questions. That way we get to just connect with each other and share with each other what's in our mind. And the safe space can be called at any time, but it's just that for this particular thing, we're also using safe space container. So if anything, any of the questions get a little personal or a little uncomfortable, they know that even though they may say something I don't agree with, I'm not going to judge them on that, and just understand where the standpoint is from, and maybe ask clarifying questions, but not necessarily tell them what to do. Just to give an example, my 19-year-old, she has a job. She's just got promoted. I mean, she's it's a good job for her. It's an entry level job, but it's at a small company and they do printing. And she's learned a lot. She's really developed a lot, and they love her there, and it's been going great. But her intention has always been going to beauty school. She's really good at anything beauty, especially nails. She's very good. She's good at installing wigs and doing braids and, like non-traditional hair, like not necessarily cutting because she doesn't know how, but other things she's like, other skill sets. She's just good at it. And so I encourage her with that. But she still hasn't finished her GED. She's halfway there. So when we talked about goals, one of the papers was pulled was about goals. She she just jumped into that and didn't mention the GED, which is really the first goal. But this is something that I want to have with her later, when it's just me and her, and kind of say, hey, I know you want to do beauty school, but you do understand that you need to do this first. So maybe that should be your focus right now. But like, I just let them talk without telling them, well, this is how you should do it, or you should do this instead. Just giving them their voice without correction. And that's kind of difficult to do. If you have any teenagers, it's kind of difficult to do. You kind of want to tell them, what are you doing? But so but it went very well. And something that I decided is that as a family, we have been very disconnected. Like, we all do our own plans. I mean, the teenagers obviously have to depend on us for transportation, but I have, like, I make my own plans with my boyfriend. Sometimes we do, they come with us, like a couple of weekends ago. But sometimes, I go to Burns. I'm a Burning Man kind of person. I'm a burner. If you don't know what that means, look up Burning Man. And so some of those environments, like they're expensive to take the children and whatnot. So the teenagers, so they usually only go to one small burn with us. The other ones are, it's just cost prohibitive. So so many times it's just me and him, and which is fine, but it's just I need to make, so now my intention is that, so there's two things. One, Wednesday nights we're going to sit down round table with this thing of questions, and we're going to go at least one round and kind of have that connection and just support each other that way. But another thing that I'm doing, I am also going to intentionally do something fun with them. So yesterday, I live right across Busch Gardens, and we have annual tickets. So at 3 o'clock, I told the girls, "Hey, let's go." They homeschool, so I'm like, "Let's go to Busch Gardens. Let's just walk this." We didn't have the car at that moment. I'm like, "Just walk the street and go." And it was an amazing time. Just a couple hours doing really like 4 rides. It was pretty empty because during the week and there's no vacation time. So it was fantastic. And we had such a good time. And I'm like, you know what? We need to do this. We need to do intentional spending time with each other, doing something fun together. So I told him, so next week we're going to do movies. So probably movies like a Tuesday night. Only because the weekend, they do sleepovers. I go out on trips, whatever. So during the week we can go to the movies. We can go, but it's more than um, like it could be eating out, but eating out we end up in our phones, so that really doesn't work. So we're just kind of like doing things, and then the following we probably go walk downtown, river walk, or something like something that actually makes us get out of the house and do something, or even if it's just watch a movie, but at least we're doing something together. So that's what our where our building relationship building is going. Today, I have a meeting with, well, my daughter, one of my daughters that I spoke about. She's been dealing with anxiety, depression, ADHD, possibly bipolar. We're going through a lot of different diagnoses right now, and been doing it for a couple of years. She was Baker acted for several times, like 8 times in a year. So right now, I am having a problem with her. I mean, it's not a new problem. It's been a problem that's been going on. And with school, she just can't focus. She doesn't, but it's coming to the point that she doesn't want to try. She hasn't, and it's something that was happening, which is why I was homeschooling. And I made the mistake of not micromanaging that with her, because her twin sister, I can go in anytime and I know she did her work. I'm not worried about it. But with her, I have to really micromanage, because she'll she was telling me, yeah, yeah, she was doing the it's an online platform and it looked like she was doing the work. But when I went actually to the reports and actually pulled the assignments, she hasn't. All she's done is played the videos and just played the main background and not really pay attention and not do the assessments, not do the tests. So it looked like A's and B's, but when I actually drilled down to where did those A's and B's came from, it was not, it was work that she's done months ago. She hasn't turned anything in. So I need to, and now she wants to go back to school, but it's going to be, when she was in school, um, she would be calling me every day to pick her up because she was depressed, she was sad, she was crying, she wanted to self-harm, like all these things every single day. And I mean, I couldn't work. It was horrendous. It was, I don't know how people do it that are not self-employed. So I'm just, it was like the last few years had been such a dark time. And now when I realized, I thought this year she was doing better. Now when I realized that the school thing is not, yeah, she's getting better. She doesn't self harm as much as she used to. She doesn't seem to be depressed. But when it comes down to the schoolwork, to actually getting to do stuff, it's pulling teeth. It's puts her head down, shuts down, and it's just driving me crazy. And something that I'm working on um, my own awareness of who I am. I realize, and it's something I've been realizing, but like yesterday just came down to it, that so there's, I don't know about any of you, I have a lot of guilt. Um, I feel that a lot of the stuff that she's gone through has been because I had an ex-husband that was too critical of her, and I'm not blaming him. He was raised that way, but I think that that really affected my kids, and um, which is why we're not married now. But but especially her, because she's the one that like the one that it just always took longer to do work. Like she just couldn't get stuff. So I have a feeling she's also we're going through some learning disability as well, and it's something that I'm going to work on to get her more further tested because she's already severe ADHD. So there might be, I don't know. But the bottom line is that at what point I'm the kind of person that I give you chances and chances and chances. My kids, you know, calmly figure out ways to motivate them and whatnot. But if it gets down to it, and I don't know if it's a Taurus thing, 'cause I'm a double Taurus. I go from just talking calmly several times until it gets to this point and I lose my shit and I will scream. I have in the past when we lived in a house, a two-floor house, gone to the room, see a plate after we've had this conversation over and over again about not bringing food upstairs because they will forget the plates and then we'll have roaches and blah blah blah. Finding a plate after just talking about that the night before. I was with the 19-year-old. Back then she was 17. I took the plate and I let it drop from the second floor to the first floor. You can imagine that plate became powder. And everybody was freaking out what the hell was going on. And then when they saw that, and I'm like, and I'm upstairs and the downstairs, and I'm like, that's what's gonna happen next plate. Like I go that crazy. I am that parent, that crazy person. But it just got to the point that I mean, how many times am I gonna say, you know, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, you know? And out of that house, we lost the deposit because again, the one she was 18, she's just turned 18, and she's at that point she's like marijuana, started smoking Mary Jane in the house in her room, and I'm like, look, if you're gonna do that crap, you gotta do it outside of the house. It didn't matter what I did, it didn't matter what I said. It was all, I mean, to the point that it had a little stain on top and I lost my deposit. It was $5,000. Crazy. And so, and I know maybe I may be judged by you guys. I judge myself for that because how did I allow that to get to that point? And it's because when I go from I don't have a medium. I go, if I lose my shit, I lose my shit and it can be detrimental. And I I don't know how to regulate that. Like I don't like I speak, like it is I'm afraid of causing more trauma. Um I'm afraid also that my ex-husband was right, that I needed to be more and I needed to be, and I needed to be more critical of them. Which then, of course, it's almost like the lesson was there, but I didn't learn shit. But I'm working on that. I'm working on that. And I'm going to figure out a way to if escalate in between, like not go from 0 to 120, just go escalate to a point that won't be so bad for me to like explode. It's embarrassing. But I don't have my mom to talk to. And maybe this helps somebody else as I find solutions to this, because maybe you're going through it, maybe you know somebody that's going through it that way with teenagers. Oof. It's made me question, when did God, I know that my kids are in my life to help me develop better skills. At least that's how I see it, because if not, it makes no sense. And as I develop better skills to raise them better, hopefully that also works on me to be a better person, to be a better mom, be a better business owner, to be a better boss. That's really, in the end, the teenagers are my teachers. They're pushing me to become better. But anyway, so my next video, I'm going to address what the suggestions were from the her therapist. I am having a meeting with a therapist today. What I mean is her therapy session. I'm just going to hijack it and say, hey, we need to figure this out. All three of us, help me figure out what to do. Do she go back to school, or does she stay in homeschool? What would be the most beneficial to her? Because the therapist hopefully has a better idea of how her real mental state is versus what she shows me versus what um, she's going through with her. And then what she's discovering with her in her sessions, and see if maybe she feels that this time she could do her best in school, or will just continue homeschooling. And but this time, like I told her, I'm to the point of sitting you right here with me as I'm working and you're on your computer. Like it's gonna have to happen. And I mean, I do a little bit of on school too. Like there's a term called unschooling. So I don't believe in her being on a computer the whole day. That's not the goal. We're in a platform that with 1 hour a day, they get exactly what they need with all the basics. And then I'm also teaching them to cook, to do budgeting, to, prepare meals, go food shop. Like I am doing all the things. Like we're going to the zoo to really learn about animals, and in the sea aquarium, and we're doing other kinds of education. Like it's more hands-on. We're going to start doing traveling to the caverns and things like that, so they learn about those things. So I believe more in the on school approach. One of my teenagers is helping me with work. So and I'm paying her a little bit a day, and she helps me with the scanning and stuff, so she starts learning those skills. And I'm teaching her, I'm going to teach her how to do websites and that sort of thing, so that there's other ways of learning. I don't believe that we need to learn everything that schools are teaching right now for text exams, taking exams. I don't feel that that's the most important thing. To me, the most important thing is what skills are you learning that can transfer to real life later. So that's really what my focus is. So I'm not expected to be in a computer 5 to 8 hours, especially an ADHD child. I'm not. But I do expect some work. Period. End of story. I'm not gonna have a 13-year-old just doing nothing. I'm not. I refuse. So but it's just finding the right platform for her. The right method for her to do the school part of it, of life, that we all have to do. In a way that's healthier. But anyway, I'm done. Thank you so much. If you watched up to the end, I really appreciate you. Please like the video if you want me to continue with this series of, kind of this more like like I know this is one of my business channels, but this is really more like a digital journal that I hope it helps someone else out there. So if you hit the like, if you make a comment, all those things really help the algorithm, so that the video is shown to more people. It kind of lets me know this is something that needs to be said. Or I don't really watch a lot of family channels and stuff and blog channels, but maybe this is something that's out there. And but anyway, I'm trying to find a balance. Okay, and then maybe you are too. All right. Mwah. Thank you so much for watching, if you watched until now, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.